honestly, Kory kind of talked me off a ledge a little bit. We're quite stoked about the results, knowing we were going to come in on the second half of the bracket. We were pretty confident in the speed that we were able to come forward with, and knowing that we'd just go quickly, get another rep in, get some spot between 9 and 16, and continue on with the regatta. Seemed great. We were playing around with equipment, playing around with rig. The Swift double is also a new boat for us, so we're definitely still getting our bearings. So we left the first time trial pretty optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, we've never, I think I can speak for both of us, we've never really been nervous internationally or domestically going into a race, which is, I don't think I've ever had that experience racing. So I knew, whatever the reason was, for the multiple reasons, I suppose, why our result was what it was. But I knew, all right, we got a couple hours, go take a nap, shower, come back. I'm certain we'll be 9th or 10th, right there with New Zealand, and then, be ready for today.
Where did you end up in the rankings?
24th. We were 24th.
So yeah, I mean, we were pretty much ready. Or I think the original plan was you were gonna have the second time trial in the single around 4ish, and then we were not too far after 5. And we got an email because a couple delays. Around 4 p.m. an email rolls out and said, yeah, so we're just gonna not do the second time trial. We're just gonna take 1 through 16 and just build a bracket off that.
This time around, there wasn't a mistake necessarily. And we could talk about my run and entry into the boat, which was heinous, and I've gotten it said to me from like 3 or 4 different angles. So I'm sure you'll be seeing that as I'm saying this out loud. But that, like, humbling is one word to put it. It doesn't stick with me. Like, I watched it over and over again. There's no way I was going to clear waist high water. I'm not a hurdler. So with that, we just knew we had to roll the dice again on that second time trial, and it wasn't able to happen. But the frustrating thing is everyone needs to get their first time trial in. We're not going to ask other boats to not race at all. But with the reserve day, with the way things could have shaken out, to completely not have that race and not have that second opportunity, when again, I don't feel like it was our fitness, our technical turns, any of that was able to be put on display. It's frustrating. I don't still really know how to feel, honestly.
I truly think it's so special, because you don't see it in like flat water, anything even comparative to how it goes with coastal. So every year we do a fairly long trip before Worlds of like training, mostly in Europe, and then sometimes early spring to get the regatta season started. We go to Peru or Costa Rica. And last year I think was so special, especially for me, is because we didn't know going into it. At least I didn't. We went to Torrevieja and we trained with Coach Moncho there, and New Zealand showed up, and it was something so special because these huge names in the running, like Michael Brake, Joe Sullivan, Jackie Kittle, Matty D, and I was like, screw these guys, like flat water Olympians, like, I'm gonna beat them, and I was like, I'm not even gonna talk to them, like they're so lame probably. And then we stayed at the same hotel, and it was like, wow, like these guys are freaking awesome. You're like, I didn't know who they were, like personally, obviously, but obviously I keep up with all the results, and they were just coming off Tokyo, and Michael won, and then Joe Sullivan won a couple years back, and Jackie this Olympics too, and it was just so special to see how the top of the top act and how they are, and like how they treat their teammates and how they treat their competitors.
I mean, every time I race, and my first junior team was in 2012. So
damn.
We're not potty trained yet. Like I've been doing this a while, and in the U.S. you normally set up a GoFundMe to get your World Championship sponsored, and that worked the first time. But there's been quite a few times since then where I've had to pay my own way to the World Championships, and I work full time now because I don't want to be asking for that handout, and I want to be able to support that and this passion on my own. But there's still time. There are holidays missed. There are years when I'm hangry going into holidays because I was racing lightweight for a long time, and my family's been very tolerant of all of that and persistently supportive.
I think this year really highlighted it more than ever, about how much support I really get, especially, and then we're on this trip. It's like over the past 4 years, Coach Mark especially has become like my second dad. So, you know, and Chris, he really is. I wasn't born with a brother, but I acquired a brother. So it really is so special. Sometimes I'm not the easiest to deal with, but those two are the only two that can bring me back to reality. And I understand we didn't get the performance we wanted, but Chris and Mark really, and my parents are the ones that can like push me like, hey, you know, that's what it is. That's the cards you're dealt. Let's push. Let's do better. So thank you to all of them.